I don't know if you want to report it on here or not. Are there any other avenues that we can take to make sure that we get the funds directly to the family?
Well, one way that we were doing it, and we last week we were able to donate $575 to the Anthony's outside of what everybody. I think there was another panel that was able to donate. I think 200 and something dollars. But on my Zooms, people have been donating to my Cash App, and I send it directly over to the Anthony's. And so that's how we have been getting funds over to them. And so if you guys don't want to get to the Get Send and Go and you want the money to them to have access to the money directly, that's how we've been doing it. And also on request, I've been providing receipts as well.
I'm sure you don't want to provide your Cash App
No.
on this platform.
Absolutely.
I've been doing a deep dive into the Emmanuel Harrow case over the last couple of weeks, and as I've been devoting most of my attention to trying to figure out what happened to this poor missing kid, it turns out that Karmelo Anthony's supporters are acting up again, and I mean big time. And it's really interesting to see because for the most part, people who are on Austin Metcalf's side have been talking less and less about this case, including myself, because a gag order was put in place. There's no real updates to the case itself, but there's always drama being started and stirred by Karmelo Anthony's supporters. But it's fascinating because once people, including myself, stopped paying as close of attention to Karmelo Anthony's supporters, once we stopped reacting to all of the disgusting stuff they were saying and doing, once we left them to their own devices, they really started to turn on each other. They started scamming each other. They did what disgusting people do. I mean, yeah, you could bring this ragtag bunch of people together to support Karmelo, but you gotta know that the people who are devoting their time to supporting Karmelo probably are shitty people. So you got a bunch of shitty people congregating together, so of course shitty things happen. You got people scamming people out of football jerseys for some reason. Some lady said that she was going to make Karmelo Anthony football jerseys, and people were buying the jerseys. So you got people getting scammed out of t-shirts, scammed out of jerseys. As you heard at the beginning of this video in that clip, you got people like Tiffany Billions telling Karmelo Anthony supporters that, hey, send your donations to my Cash App. I'll make sure Karmelo Anthony's family gets it. So now you got idiots thinking that they're donating to Karmelo Anthony's family, but they're really just sending Cash App money to random content creators. There's so much going on, and every couple of days, these supporters of Karmelo's, they have these secret meetings. Now, these meetings are not secret at all. We all know about the meetings. Half of the time, these meetings are taking place on public social media platforms where we could all tune in, but for some reason, these people are so stupid and so irrelevant that they figure that no one knows they're doing these live streams. No one knows they're sitting on live stream panels, spreading lies about Austin Metcalf and attacking Sarah Fields and attacking other people as well, right? It's so utterly bizarre to me. And look, I'm a little bit behind on all of the crazy stuff that's going on, and it's piling up, and I'm trying to make sense of it all. But some of it, there's not really any sense to be made because these people don't make sense, right? A lot of these people simply do not make sense. So there's infighting going on. There are people pointing fingers, accusing people of talking too much or revealing too much information. All the while, they're acting like they're having these conversations in secret, but the videos and the live streams are public. So I really don't know what's going through their mind. But what I do know is it looks like that gag order has been broken. Carmelo Anthony's family is not supposed to be out here having conversations with anyone about this case. Yet if you tune in to these not-so-secret live streams, they put it on Front Street multiple times that Drew, Carmelo's father, is tuning into these live streams. He's telling people what he wants to be said, what he doesn't want to be said. When someone says something, he lets them know, hey, I like what you're saying, I don't like what you're saying. Now, mind you, on these live streams, much of it is basically like a harassment campaign where, hey, how can we gather people together for a common cause to basically harass people who are supporting Austin Metcalf? And usually the target is Sarah Fields because Tiffany has a hard-on for Sarah Fields. I don't know what it is, but for many of Carmelo's supporters, this case has become less about Karmelo and more about attacking Sarah Fields. It's like Carmelo Anthony is an afterthought in some of these people's minds now. The first thought in their head is, how can we attack Sarah Fields? How can we do something disgusting to Sarah Fields? Yada, yada, yada. But clips of these live streams and of these meetings, they exist online. Sarah posted a clip that I want to show you guys so you can understand what I'm talking about. And when I say so you can understand what I'm talking about, I'm fully aware that a lot of you will watch this and still not understand what's going on. And just know there's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with these people. Because I think that they strive off of people like me and other YouTubers reacting to their nonsense. Because now that there's less reactions out there, these people are like getting desperate. They don't know what to do with themselves. They're doing fake mock trials. They're doing mock trials on their TikTok live streams. Oh, hear ye, Carmelo Anthony is innocent. Like they're pretending to be judges and lawyers. It's psychotic, weirdo stuff. Stuff that I don't even really want to get into. It's how stupid it is. But these people are dangerous. And that's one thing I have to keep reminding myself. I see some of the stuff these people do, some of the stuff they say, and I say, these people are idiots. I don't even want to deal with this. But then I look at the result of some of their actions. And that's what we have to be careful with here. As idiotic and as stupid as these people are, we cannot totally write them off because they are dangerous. And they have been putting people in danger, including Sarah Fields. But like I said, I got a clip I want to show you. I'm going to go ahead and roll this clip really quickly, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Disputing what you were saying. She was saying, no, he can't be online, because she's never been in the Zoom calls. Now, the people that were in the Zoom calls, and I hate to have this conversation publicly, but the people that were in the Zoom calls were privy to the fact that he could be online. Because...
Miss Tiff.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to interrupt you, but we haven't been in the Zoom call. That's something you said to us on one of our panels. You said that on one of our panels.
Okay.
So that's something that you said outside of the Zoom.
Okay, if you'll just allow me to finish. And I'm aware of that. So the people in the Zoom calls, they were aware that Carmelo Anthony could be online. This is a conversation that I had with the people in the Zoom calls. And yes, Menia, you are right. I have said this also on, I believe, I can't remember whose panel it was, but I think it was Honey's panel or something like that. But what was not said was that his family watches the lives and tells us what they don't like and what they do like. I've never told you guys that, except unless you were in the Zoom call.
I remember you when we were, it was in your live particular where Sierra was coming up, and that was where she kind of felt conflicted about being in the mock trial. That was the last time that I do recall you even saying that a particular individual of the family has even stated,
No,
They
that was
don't.
on Constitutional's live because
Okay, I
I
Because
can't. No, sometimes I can't remember whose live it is, but
Tiffany,
I remember it being.
sorry to interrupt, but Tiffany, do you want to move this to a private conversation?
And if we want to, that's I'm
No, no,
happy.
no, I don't. Let's go ahead and have it here because I have things to do. And I
Okay.
appreciate that, honey. But what I'm saying is that when I addressed Miss Sierra for the mock trials, that was I specifically said, Drew said that he did not see the benefit of the mock trials and he did not want any supporters of Karmelo having the mock trials. If you don't support Karmelo, mock trial it out. But if you support Karmelo, he did not want you having any mock trials because in his eyes there was no benefit to that. And so I did say that. I probably said that on a couple of lives. But what I have not said on lives is that the family watches and they tell what they do like and they don't like. And you said that in one of the screenshots.
And I did it. And if I
One
misquoted,
second.
I completely
One second.
apologize.
No, no, no. Hold on. Let me finish because my memory. I have anemia, and sometimes I have memory loss. Right. I can't remember things short term sometimes. And so I said that his family says what they do like and what they don't like. Right. And then also the issue that I had with your particular screenshot is you telling how many people were in the Zoom. I didn't understand how that was relative, and to me, it was just extra information. And so, extra information that you were providing to a panel who frequently has ops on its panel, and I take that to heart. If you're an op and you switch sides, and I'm just speaking to my temperament. If you're an op and you're for Austin and you switch sides and you jump on Carmelo Anthony's team, you're forever an op. I don't care what you say and how you're pro Carmelo Anthony now. Now that is how I view it. That is not how the Anthonys view it. So we have different views going on here. But what I'm saying is that I wanted to look at your responses and I wanted to say, okay, yeah, I've said that publicly before. Yeah, okay, well, I don't know. That's kind of borderline. But then when you disclosed how many people were in the Zoom, I'm like, the fuck? Is she doing this on purpose? Like, what? How was that relevant? And why would that information be proffered or offered up on an ops panel? That was my issue, was that you telling how many people were in the Zoom and you saying that when I was in the Zoom, I'm telling you guys what the family likes and what they don't like. And so that's one reason why the Zoom is canceled today. It's not because of you, Miss Daisy. It's because I'm getting ready to disseminate a plethora of information because I want to look at you guys as a team. Again, I gave the metaphor on One Two and Trees Live, and I said it's kind of like an architect spreading out their plans. And I'm going to tell you the layout of this house so that we can work together and we can come to a viable conclusion on how this house slash this defense should be structured so that if the defense goes outside of this structure, we know that they are not for Carmelo, right? Because you cannot advocate for a case and trust attorneys. You have to hold their feet to the fire. I need a team to do that. And I was looking at assembling a team. And that's why I said, if you come on the Zoom, you don't tell what we discussed in the Zoom. Even how many people were in the Zoom, that's personal to me. That's personal. It's personal to the Anthonys. Because y'all, I don't know, like
I understand, Tiffany, where you're coming from, and I'm sorry that I missed
okay,
it.
y'all know Drew be in my Zoom sometimes. Okay, come on, let me put it on the table.
I wouldn't even see, and that's something I definitely didn't want to say. You
And
know,
so,
because I knew that was
but
very
but I'm saying y'all want to talk about this. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about why I'm such a hard ass. Let's talk about why I will kick you out and block you. And that doesn't mean you're not part of the movement. It just means that you're not part of the inside team that I can disclose things to because you're saying things.
How stupid can people get? Just when I think that people can't get even dumber, something always happens to prove me wrong. And look, I don't care about you was on the Zoom in, and then we was zooming, and y'all was zooming, and then there was too many Zoomers, and then you showed the number of Zoomers, and then how dare you zoom to Zoom? I don't give a damn about any of the Zoom discussion. What I care about is the fact that Tiffany multiple times acknowledges, puts it right out there on Front Street, that Karmelo Anthony's family is watching the Zoom calls. They're watching the live streams, but not just that. They're weighing in with their opinions. They're directing people on what they want to be done and what they want to be said. Now, a gag order is in place. So this right here is proof that Karmelo Anthony's father is breaking that gag order. And it's not like, I want people to understand this. It's not like Karmelo Anthony's father is having innocent conversations about what happened with his son. No. Karmelo Anthony's father is knowingly attaching himself and his family to psychotic individuals that he knows are out here for one reason. And that reason is to harass other people. Okay? If Karmelo Anthony was their main concern, if they were really all in on the Karmelo Anthony case and they just cared so much about Karmelo, they would be moving differently. They wouldn't be out here on publicly available streams talking about how Drew broke the gag order. But for most of these people supporting Karmelo, most of them probably don't even know what a gag order is. They don't know that a gag order has been put in place. Because all of that real news and real info, it comes from the evil white man. So the only place you're going to get the truth is if you listen to some ghetto black psychotic lady who is out of her mind talking about a bunch of jibber jabber that never happened. So they still think that Karmelo was jumped, he was robbed, all of this crazy stuff. They're not based in reality. But I don't care how far out in la la land these people are. The stuff that they say, it still has an effect on other people. And the fact that they're basically admitting that Karmelo Anthony's father is out here breaking the gag order, that says a lot. And you would think that at the very least, they would be smart enough to know that what they're doing is hurting Karmelo Anthony and his family and their case right now. But for them, I don't think it matters. And at the very least, for Tiffany and some of her closest minions, I think what matters most to them is targeting some of Austin's supporters like Sarah Fields. Because there has been some absolutely disgusting things going on over the past few days that I've seen. Stuff that I don't even necessarily want to talk about here until I get confirmation from Sarah Fields that it would be okay to talk about. Because I don't want to, put any of her personal info or any of the stuff that she's dealing with. If she doesn't want people talking about it, I'm not going to talk about it. But what I will say is this. Knowing that Karmelo Anthony's father is directly involved with these people, he's directly involved in telling them what's okay to do, what's not okay to do, what's okay to say, what's not okay to say. Knowing that, and then knowing what these disgusting human beings have done to Sarah Fields lately, I can't find the words to describe what I really want to say here. At least words that would be appropriate for this platform. And I try not to cuss too much or to get too ugly in my videos. But basically what I think is that by them confirming that Karmelo Anthony's father is directly involved in these live streams and these Zoom calls, and he's directly involved in what's okay to do, what's okay to say, it makes me think that Karmelo Anthony's dad must have given the order that it's okay to do what they've been doing to Sarah Fields. That it's okay to attack and dox and swat people, right? Because obviously Drew comes in and he tells them, hey, I don't like when you do this and I don't like when you do that. But when you do this, it's okay. When you do that, it's okay. We know these people have been forming this hate mob to come at some of Austin's supporters. And in knowing that Drew Anthony is directly involved with these people, it kind of lets you know, without them directly saying it, that whatever disgusting stuff they do, it must be okay with Karmelo Anthony's father. When they go out of their way to dox people or swat people or spread false information about people, they must be given the go-ahead. They must be getting the okay from Karmelo Anthony's father. Because when they don't get the okay to say something, we see what happens. They wind up arguing on a live stream. And look, I'm not going to sit here and just spend hours and hours and hours out of my day listening to every single thing these people have said on their Zoom calls and their live streams. But just from the little clip that I showed you, you could see what the dynamic is. It's like Tiffany is at the head of things. She has other minions, and when they dare to say something without her, do something without her, whenever they step out of line a little bit, she freaks out, right? She has these minions, but the minions, I think, are beginning to question her. And you're kind of seeing a split within the group, but she's trying to keep them in line because they want to form a team. They act like they're in secret behind closed doors, forming the Legion of Doom like a supervillain team or something, when in reality, they're on a live stream that we're all publicly viewing, talking about creating a team so they could target jurors, so they could target journalists and YouTubers and anyone who dares to speak out against Karmelo Anthony. But the craziest part is, nothing I've said, nothing any of these other YouTubers have said, nothing that we have collectively said has done more damage to Karmelo Anthony's family than what they're saying. What they're doing and what they're saying, they're damaging their own cause. And they don't care. I know they don't care, but that's what's happening. They're causing more problems for themselves than we're causing for them. They're causing more problems for Karmelo Anthony's family than what we're causing. I'm not out here saying, exposing that Karmelo Anthony's dad broke the gag order. No, that's Carmelo's number one supporter, Tiffany. She's the one exposing that Karmelo's family is breaking the gag order. So it's just wild seeing them form these hate mobs, right? Coming after people, when in reality, they should be looking at the mirror. They should be looking in the mirror, looking at themselves, because any of the damage done in this case has mainly been done by Karmelo and his team. There's nothing I could say, there's no words that I could muster that would make these people look worse than they already do. There's not a word in the English language. There's not words in the English language that I could string together to form, a thought or a sentence that would be worse than what these people have done to their own cause. So day in and day out, they continue this psychotic behavior. Day in and day out, they're making the situation worse for themselves. But I'm kind of at this point where I'm like, just let them talk. Sometimes you got to just let your enemies make their moves, right? You got to let your enemies do the talking. Allow them to show their true colors. Just sit back, right? And watch them overstep their boundary. Just sometimes you don't have to defeat an enemy. Sometimes your enemy defeats themselves. And that's what I feel like we've been watching lately. But like I said, you cannot underestimate these people because they're very dangerous and they've done some very dangerous things just this week. And I'll be talking about that in a future video. For now, though, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.